Journalist Hangout. I'm Binga Oreshegun. Today on the program, Blackout as national grid collapses for the second time in 24 hours. PDP governors resolve party crisis, nullify all suspensions. And later on the show, President Tinubu demands CAF's investigation, justice over maltreatment of Super Eagles in Libya. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju and Olayinka Oyegbile. While Hassan Wada joins us later for sports, Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. At a time the power sector in Nigeria was beginning to record slight gains and stability, another national grid collapse has cast doubts over the progress being made. On Monday, at about 6:18 p.m., the national grid collapsed, throwing the country in blackout. After the restoration of power, the national grid collapsed again at about 9:17 a.m. this Tuesday. According to the Ikeja Electric Distribution Company, the national grid collapse affected power supply nationwide. All right, BKO, grid collapse is not new to Nigerians. But when will this issue become history?
Well, it's bad enough that the power sector is not doing well. But it's actually made worse by these frequent power collapses. And we've had 7 grid collapses this year alone.
There's 7.
It's terrible. There was a time when we didn't suffer grid collapse for over a year. Now we've had 7 this year. It says a lot about the problems bedeviling the sector. And as I always say, you can as well kiss economic growth and development goodbye if you cannot fix your energy sector, you cannot fix your power sector. You've got to do something. And some of the engineers that I've spoken with, what they've told me is that you cannot stop system collapse unless you bring back the spinning reserve. The spinning reserve is the power reserve. They are saying that for us to deal decisively with this problem, we need to bring back the spinning reserve.
All right, BKO, just right about now, we're having a live broadcast of the launch of the passenger operation of the Red Line of Lagos Rail Mass Transit, by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Journalist Hangout will continue on our various platforms. All right, BKO, let's continue the conversation.
The engineers that I've spoken with, unless we bring back the spinning reserve, there's something called the spinning reserve. It's also known as the power reserve. Unless we bring it back, this system collapses will not stop. I do not have the details, but I'm sure those who are listening to me who are concerned with that sector, they know what I'm talking about. Government has to move quickly to bring back the spinning reserve. If they need people who are competent, who are going to be round pegs in round holes, they need to go and look for them. This is a sector where you need professionals to come and work. Second, we need to build transformer repair centers across the length and breadth of our country. The last time I checked, our transformer reserve center is in Lagos alone.
The entire Nigeria, just Lagos alone?
Just look at what we... No, the repair center, transformer repair center. And even that one is not working at full capacity. We generate consistently less than 5,000 megawatts. If we even do 5,000 megawatts, which we have only been able to do a few times.
Yeah, a few times.
If we do 5,000 megawatts, multiply that by 36 states and FCT. Each state gets just about 160 something megawatts. Lagos alone can use up 1,000 megawatts. When we talk about these things and people, you know, in some areas people enjoy electricity.
Yeah, sure.
Those who enjoy would think that there is tremendous improvement. The way to know whether there is improvement is to look at not just the generating capacity, but the capacity to wheel what is generated. You must improve the capacity of the transmission company of Nigeria to evacuate what is generated. That capacity is just not enough. Because if the generating companies can generate in excess of 10,000 megawatts, yet we are doing consistently from 3,500 to 4,000.
Is it because of the infrastructure?
The infrastructure is the problem. It's a big problem. You cannot, it's not possible to wheel what the generating companies can generate.
What happened? Is it that we can't change the infrastructures?
And they've been, you see, the thing is, they've been investing in freshening up the infrastructure. But these things take time. They're talking about infrastructure about more than 60 years old.
Exactly.
Some of them have been there since before independence. You cannot change all of those things at once. You have to methodically replace them, and it takes time. If anyone tells you that, oh, a miracle could happen, they are lying. And in the fullness of time, people will see that these are all lies.
All right, because, but you remember the Siemens deal. I thought maybe with the Siemens deal, it would actually take away all of these things.
I hope people can go back and watch some of what I said when they came up with Siemens. I hope people can come back, go and check what I said back then. I don't want to act like a doomsday journalist, but I don't think Siemens was the right company to go to.
You didn't believe in it?
Yeah, because they do not have a solid record in electricity. If you brought maybe General Electric, for example, you say, oh, these people, they have a track record. Well, you don't just bring anybody. We know that they are capable of producing equipment and all that. But what we are talking about is not just equipment. We are talking about the power sector is like it's a relay.
Yeah.
You have the generation, you have the transmission,
and the
distribution. You have the distribution. They must all work together. If you generate so much and transmission cannot wheel what you generate, where are you going? If you even wheel so much and these costs do not take what you have willed to them, as they do because they decide to even shorten, what do you then do? As a country, we have greater capacity in terms of the size of our economy than what we get, from the power sector. It is way too low. If a country like South Africa can be generating in excess of 40,000, largely from coal.
Coal.
We are relying even too much now on gas-fired power plants. Whereas it was not like that before. There was a time it was hydro.
Hydro, yeah.
So today now, the bulk of our power plants are gas-fired. So now, if you cannot get gas supply, and it happens many times, it even sometimes can lead to system failure if you don't have sufficient gas
to power those power stations.
Yes. So
All right.
a kind of disequilibrium will happen.
Exactly.
And then we face this problem.
Olayinka, my parents told me that one of the first things I said as a baby was, "Daddy, Mommy, up NEPA." In my generation, in my lifetime, will we ever witness constant power supply? Or my child will also be his first, will also be up NEPA?
You know what? The national grid story is just like the proverbial Sisyphus story. When you roll that boulder up, it comes down again, and it begins from and rolls it up and comes
like
back
a
again.
recurring destiny.
I mean, it's not as if we can't solve this problem. I believe and I know that there are many Nigerians who work in the electricity sector outside the country. If it means calling them back as expatriates, go to the company where they work and ask for them as a loan, pay them as you pay expatriates and all that. Let us bring them back. Then we begin to replace this system little by little. We cannot overhaul everything at the same time, but we can at the same time talk to see what we can do. In fact, as far as I am concerned, I'm looking forward to a system, a day when we will have a government that will come in and say that without neglecting other sectors, I will face power problem
Perhaps
in Nigeria
a state of emergency.
Exactly. In the next 4 years, this is what I want to do, and I want to make sure I achieve it. Because the way it is going, now there is fuel scarcity, the power national grid has broken down.
Energy crisis, basically.
Completely. Now, companies that depend solely on electricity and fossil fuel to power their system, what do? One, the fossil fuel is expensive and scarce. Two, national grid has collapsed. So how do you keep your industries working? What do you do? How do you sustain the economy that we are in now? We have an economy that is what the Yoruba will call dakudaji. It will come up today, next minute it is down. The national grid yesterday collapsed. They resuscitated it to this morning again. It went off. What exactly is the problem? Is it something so big? What exactly is that problem that is causing the national grid to break down every time? There must be something that somebody knows that, okay, give us this. We may not be able to solve it at once, but in the next few months or so, this is what we need, and then we will solve it. We cannot continue to be having national grid collapse every day, every now and then. Why?
All of this does not have to do with the competence of maybe the personnel, the minister, and all. It has nothing to do with that. It's about...
it may have a little of that.
Okay, may have a little.
It may have a little of that. But largely also, we need a complete system.
System overhaul.
Exactly. Maybe let us, if it means, as I said earlier, even if we don't get Nigerians who are experts in this, either at home or abroad, let us get people from anywhere that, look, come and help us. This is a world of technology. Some of them might even work remotely and tell you that, okay, we have studied your system. This is what you need. You need to put this one, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
We must spend money to make more money and stop all this embarrassment every day.
It is super embarrassing. It is super embarrassing. All right, let's move straight to our next story. It's been a frenzy of suspension in the camp of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, worsening the crisis rocking the main opposition party in the country. The PDP governors, who were deeply divided over the future of the acting national chairman of the party, Iliya Damagum, after a meeting in Abuja on ways to resolve the crisis. The governors were able to break the deadlock by nullifying the suspension of Damagum and the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. The chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, who addressed newsmen, explained that the decision to broker a truce